Each week at this time in our gathering, we have a segment we call the Community Moment. It's a chance to hear and learn from the kind of wisdom of the people in this community. The Community Moment is really like a 10-minute or less thought for the day. I do have to repeat that. And it can be almost anything. It could be a topic you're passionate about. It could be an idea from a book you've read. It could be a hobby you want to talk about, or a life experience you've had you want to share. Something that would just enrich the community. We've had some really incredible community moments, and we'd love to have more. So if you'd like to do it, please get with me, and we'll get you on the schedule. Today we have a veteran community moment presenter. She's always got something thought-provoking to say, and today she's going to talk to us about journaling. Let's welcome back to the podium, Amorette Kwan.
So, journaling, the art of putting thought to paper. So when you think of journaling, often you think of dear diary, dear journal, today I ... right? So who right now does actually journal? Raise show of hands. Okay, a very scant few of you. So let me tell you that if you do want to get into journaling, and there are many reasons why, I will explain later, there's a lot of variety nowadays. You walk into a store, Barnes & Noble's, you'll see many different types of journals. So I just want to give you guys an overview of what you could expect or what you could use journals for. So why journal? Well, there's the personal record journal, which is the normal sort. Dear diary, dear journal, this is what I thought about today, or this is an interesting memory, I wanted to write it down. There is the time event, time period journal, such as, I went on vacation to Aruba. I wanted to write down my memories from that time frame. Or, I'm getting married, or, I just had a baby, or had some other big life event, and I want to chronicle that. Often used to be done via scrapbooking, but you can also journal and do it that way. So group written, so multiple people are trading the journal back and forth or writing in it at the same time. There's thematic journals, dream journals, gratitude journals, creativity journals. You can also use it for goal setting, vision setting, such as the self-journal or the life book. And there are planners, task, productivity type journal systems, such as bullet journal. So that was a quick overview. Let me go through each of them in turn. So personal record journals, I won't belabor the point. Dear diary, dear journal, this is what happened today, this is what I want to remember, etc. But there is also the time period journal. So, what about, I'm going to have a baby book for the first year, 2 years, 3 years of my baby's life, and I'm going to put down my baby's health and which tooth just fell out, etc., etc. So you can think of it as a log, even, or even what used to be scrapbooking. But you can turn it into a journal for people who are a little bit less inclined towards all of the extra things that scrapbooking may entail. Or you could just stick all their tickets from all the shows that you watched at Broadway when you went to New York City and had a great time, right? So it's really up to you what you want to use a journal for. So the group journal, which you may not have heard of, this is one that I found at Barnes & Noble's. It's called Just Between Us, Grandmother and Granddaughter Journal. So one side is written in by the grandmother, one side is written in by the granddaughter. As you can see, the prompts are thematically linked. So the grandmother in this one says, a drawing of my bedroom when I was little. The granddaughter responds to the prompt, a drawing of my dream room. So that you can have a joint theme of conversation, open up the conversation and really connect with each other. Not only that, but there are other journals that are already set up for you, like mother, like daughter, so, family members, friends. You can also pass it around at, your monthly gathering with your best buds. Or you can also do it for love relationships, the Why I Love You, a Journal of Us. So a chronicle of your time together. Right now I'm actually doing a group journal and we pass it back and forth every month. So it's really nice because you get to see the other person's perspective over a month, a week, a day, however long you want to keep the journal for. There are also thematic journals. So this one was the most interesting one I saw. I'm so freaking freaked out. It is a freak out journal. if for the people who are anxious or want to be more anxious, perhaps, this may be a good idea. So you can say, it's not time to worry yet, so I'm not really sure why they're trying to calm down the freak out, but hey, that's okay. And on the other side of the page it says, what I'm freaking out about today. So, on the total other side of the spectrum, you've got the kind journal. So choose kind. The prompts are, be kind to yourself, read a book, a poem that you would love today, tell me, the journal, what book you would like to read, why, or, do a kind thing for the person down the street, etc., etc. So the thematic journals, there's just so many. You can get prompts for pretty much anything nowadays. It's a really big market. 642 things to write about, just in case you just can't think of anything. You can pick and choose. And then also the creativity journals, right? And you can see, I don't know if it's showing up on the screen right now, but for the creativity journal, there's a grid pattern in the back. So you can draw and you can write and you can, rip pages out, do whatever. Really, journaling is about whatever you want to log down or write down in any shape or form. So be creative with it, create every day. And then you've also got the happiness journals, gratitude journals, and those also really help with your mood and other things, but we shan't get into that. The reason why I wanted to show this happiness journal is that some people might say, hey look, I just don't got the time. Don't make me write a paragraph. Don't make me scrapbook. Don't make me, do anything at all. I don't have time. Well, you've got enough time for at least one sentence, I would hope. So, this particular happiness journal is one sentence a day. Low time commitment. And the great thing about this one is that because it is one sentence a day, you can see it's a 5-year journal. So over time, so 5 years, you would write one sentence a day for 5 years, hopefully, if you were consistent. I myself have a 10-year journal. I have not been very consistent, but it's nice, every so often I will come up with, 2 years in a row where I actually write something. Most of the time, it's a little bit less consistent than that. But it's nice, you flip to your birthday page and you're like, oh, what was I thinking last year on my birthday? And it's sort of fun. So that is the sort of one sentence to short journals that have that type of time period attached to them. If you say even one sentence is too much for me, you can do lists. You can do a music listography journal, my future listography, all I hope to do in lists. These are only 2 examples of that. You could do your own version as well, of course. So then we go to the more specialized versions. Well, specialty journaling, such as goals, so a self-journal. It's a combination of gratitude, daily planning, goals, but essentially the really cool thing about it is that every day you will write down your goals again and again and again. And so you keep your goals in front of you. And it really helps out. There's also the business setting journal, such as the life book. So it goes through a much more holistic viewpoint of goal setting, where you go through all 12 areas of life and you can see the categories on the screen and you detail them out into excruciating detail to the point where you look at it and you're like, oh man, that is exactly the life that I want. And then there's also something called bullet journal. It's all the rage nowadays. You can look up YouTube tutorials up the wazoo, and the original URL is bulletjournal.com. Short sentences, concise. It's a type of task productivity manager. You could really use it for whatever you want. The cool thing about it is that it does have an index. You create an index so that you can actually find your notes afterwards. So it's really more of a productivity task thing. Also with the tasks, you use a dot for an open task, but afterwards you can modify depending on how the task is going. Whether you want to keep it, and migrate it to another day with an arrow, or you want to exit out because you've completed it, or you want to
yeah, exit out because you've completed it or you want to delete it entirely and just cross it out. So that's the really cool thing about the bullet journal. You can find out more by looking online, bulletjournal.com. So we've talked about the innards of the journals and the reason why you might want to use a journal. Here are the actual features of a journal. So there are spiral bound journals, which are great because you can actually flatten them out and you can use all of your paper instead of just part of your paper. So that's really cool. There are motivational covers up the wazoo. You can just choose whatever. You can actually make your own. You can paper mache it. I don't know, whatever you want, of course. Aside from that, there are also a lot of different types of journals that have ways to close it, just in case you don't want other people to be pawing around on them, at them. And there's the leather one with the strap. You wrap around, tuck it in. There's the rubber band type closure, which is pretty useful, I think. And then there's the clasp, which just looks really classy. So, what about the internals of the journal? Well, there's a lot of different papers to choose from. If you don't like the line, you've got the blanks, if you have really good writing, or you want to just freeform. You've got the lines, various line spaces. You've got the dot grid, which is cool because then it's just a grid of dots and it doesn't interfere with your writing or your drawing. Grid, sort of graph paper-like if you really, really want to draw or graph something. And then the really cool one is the invisible, quote-unquote. So there is a book, a notebook called the White Lines Journal from Lecterm 1917. And when you take a picture of it, the lines will disappear. So you can digitize it very easily. And that's a really cool feature that some people might want to use in the digital age, or if they want to put something online or something like that. So, hopefully I've given you a very a quick overview, but now you know the lay of the land, and when you go into the bookstore next time to look for your next journal, perhaps you won't be quite as confused, and hopefully you'll go back and journal somehow going on. So happy journaling!